Glory be to God. Welcome to D Weaver Art here on YouTube, the channel for art lovers who love realistic and impressionistic style portraits. I want to share with you guys a process that I did not too long ago, just finished it up. And it is a lady that has braids with a little bit of curl to her hair. I would say a quarter, almost profile view. And what I'm doing right now, I am establishing the proportions. As you can see, I have this video sped up and I'm working with the number HB to begin with. Just getting down, graphite pencil, just getting down the proportions, getting now the planes of the face. And it's very important that you get these things down. Start with the big shapes, the overall arching shapes, and then you just, like a sculpture, just carve into it, and then you move on to the next step. Now, what I've done so far is that I've established where the proportions are accurately, and now I'm starting to I switched over from an HB to a 2B and pushing down a little bit on the areas where it's going to be dark. That's why my line is dark at the bottom of the face or the neck area, because it's a shadow from the light casting on to the model that I'm drawing from. I got this model from Pinterest. If you wanted to know where I got this model to draw from, is from Pinterest, and I'm just I really like the angle that the model is in, the lighting. I wanted to do this drawing, so now I'm just putting in the curls and establishing now the locks in her hair, or braids I should say. And simply at this time we just got a line drawing. As I have mentioned earlier, it's time lapse to some extent, sped up, so it won't be super long in this explanation of the process that I'm doing. I'm working with a gray tone 9 by 12 inch gray tone paper. I love to work with gray tone paper, and as I establish these lines, eventually I'm going to start putting in the highlights, and as of right now, that's what I'm about to do. Working with General pencils. This is a white chalk, and as you can see that I'm working with gray tone paper, therefore there's no white, and so in order to increase the values, I have to put that white down. I wanted to just establish the highlights at the beginning before I started shading in. This is by far, to me, this is my most favorite part, working with gray tone paper. This is why I like working with it, because it just makes the two-dimensional drawing three-dimensional. You could just see. And personally, quite frankly, I think if I just leave it at a line drawing stage and just with a white highlight to it, I would be fine with it. But aesthetically, for most people, no, it would look better if you just go and complete the drawing. But I really like what I got so far. Everything is going according to plan. Just really enjoy working, just drawing and creating this artwork. Now I've taken a number 2B General's pencil I'm working with. So I'm working with that, establishing the corner cheek bone, working down around the jaw and the neck area. Gonna get that eventually very dark. So just this is the first pass, shading in. I'm going with since I'm left-handed, I'm just naturally I just go from a diagonal lines, and just repetitive motion on that to get the effect of the shadow. Now, with the understanding of light, where the light is coming from, which will be her right eye, which from you looking at it be left, but it's her right eye. That's the predominant area where the light is falling down onto her as a model. And I am really trying to establish the form as now is starting to come forth as three-dimensional. Even though it's on a two-dimensional surface, that's why if you understand values and light and shadow and cast shadow and reflective light and all that you're going to do well, especially if you're able to understand form, even to some extent without the light. What's not without the light, but without the values, just line. You're on your way to possibly having a good, especially if you get the proportions down. If you're working from a subject matter, but if you're doing it from imagination, still gotta have and if you're doing realistic, still have an understanding of these concepts and stuff about form, light, shadow, and so forth, highlights and reflective light and different things like that. So you got a lot of hard edges, but some of these edges in here will be softened up to some extent. Now I'm just adding more graphite down onto the gray tone paper. Now, what you're going to see pretty soon is me working with charcoal, with a vine charcoal and or charcoal stick. It's going to make it a little bit darker and just reinforcing first pass. I'll come back through, keep going back through, stop, I'll look away, look back, look at my model, look at my drawing, making sure everything looking right. And most of realistic drawing has to do with what you're looking at, what you're seeing, understanding the model or the picture or the whatever you're using to draw from, really examining it, looking back and forth, taking periodic times to just examine your subject. Now there you see I'm working with I've broken out the charcoal stick, going over the top of the hair or the head, blocking in with the charcoal stick. And what I'm gonna do, looks very rough right now, but what I'll do, I eventually will smudge this in using blending stump and a brush, paintbrush. Yes, a paintbrush. Softly blend that into the paper. And in this drawing, now a lot of times I use cotton swabs, but in this particular drawing I did not do that. And as you know now, it's a mixed media with just two, and that's charcoal and graphite. Combining the two together. The hair needs to be real dark. And the thing is, when you working with graphite, if you go real dark with the graphite, there it is. That's the paintbrush, which is a watercolor brush. It's very soft. And I'm just smudging that in, smearing that into the paper, shading it into the paper. But I'll get even with the next pass, it'll get even darker. But when you're working with that, when you're working with charcoal, it's very forgiving, especially with the vine charcoal. Now, if you're working with compressed charcoals, you have to really make sure that before you start shading that in, that's correct and everything's correct on it. So as you see the different, I keep adding in value I realized I need to make them locks or the braids much darker for the hair, and very relaxing. I can't express that enough, how so common it is to be able to create and listen to music, listen to the Word of God, just things that would just meditation, just sometimes just not listening to nothing and just thinking and reflecting on life. And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to be able to do this and to share it with you guys on YouTube. Is a pleasure to me. I hope you guys are benefiting from my videos. And this is by far the latest one at this moment that I've done. So now I'm taking that. I'm going to actually just go over that, because just playing with it, seeing what happens with it. See, as you can see, I just went over that, but I'll reestablish it again. But at this moment, I'm just layering down, pushing down that charcoal into the tooth of the paper. And but I'm working on a Master's Touch that is store brand paper, that's Hobby Lobby brand, that they have available to its customers. That's what I'm working with, a gray tone recycled sketch paper. It's ideal for pencil, graphite, chalk, and it don't say it on here, but I can go on and add colored pencil too. So you can put colored pencil on here. Now, if you're gonna work with pastels, it could use a lot more tooth, because the pastels are like very chalky. Depending, now when I talk about pastel, I'm mainly talking about the soft pastels. Now oil pastels, I don't know on gray tone paper. I never worked with oil pastel on gray tone paper, but this is the paper I'm using, 30% recycled paper. And once again, the dimensions is 9-inch by 12-inch. And in this, you guys, I'll probably drop below the link to the video of my supplies a couple of weeks back, or I talked about the supplies that I use when it comes to charcoal drawing. But you guys will benefit from that if you want to know what kind of supplies you need for drawing and stuff, especially drawing charcoal. But now I'm putting in the details, and this is at the point now where I need to put in more of the darks, a little finer, fine-tune the drawing a little bit more. Really like my eyes, yes, it do gravitate toward the face, but for some reason it also gravitates toward the shoulder and the upper arm. I really like the way it looks right there. And with each layer of charcoal being pushed down into the paper, it gets darker and darker. There you see the earring. Taking a blending stump, pushing that charcoal down into the paper, darkening the iris, pupil, working more on the curls of the hair. This time I first started out with a graphite pencil. Now I'm taking a number 4B General's pencils. Actually, I'll take that back. It is a HB General compressed charcoal pencil, and reinforce the curls in the hair. Now I've taken out the electric eraser, or not electric, but battery power eraser, to add the highlights in. I really love that thing. You can also get, like, it look like a pencil, but erasers that you can go and have even more control with it. Because I have to, as I use this, I have to push a button to get it to rotate. It's going pretty. It sounds like clippers when I use it. So just basically working with multiple different types of tools, drawing tools, and I really just share this with you. I really don't ever use Kleenex, but I know there are some artists that use Kleenex when they work with charcoal and graphite sometimes. I mean, I'm not knocking that, but I just don't use that. Yeah, a lot of times I would use my blending stump, but in the future I may have to, especially if I gotta cover a large amount of surface. It would be much quicker than using a blending stump. Now taking a 4B, now I can say 4B Jerome Pencils charcoal. Going back now and shaping the braid, the contour, creating a contour of the braids, and really love doing hair. I like doing the hair. The lines, the little white lines, is actually the highlights where the light is hitting the hair, and I try to blend that out over time. Maybe a little bit too strong, but I think it works for me. And just a lot of fun bringing about this drawing. It just comes to life when you start adding all the details in. The process is quite amazing, going back through and looking at it each time. Do a drawing of anything and seeing it play back, it's wonderful to see. You guys out there who are artists that may be watching this channel, hey, drop down in the comments what you're working on. Also too, tell me which media you're more familiar with and more comfortable with. Is it graphite or is it charcoal? Or are you comfortable with both like I am? Hey, just drop it down in the comments what you have to say about that. So I'm about done with this drawing here. But guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, like the video, and check out other videos that I got. And stay healthy, stay safe, God bless you, and see you next time.